Welcome to the Banter at the Counter podcast here at Phone Savers in Killarney. I'm John Lynch and I'll be bringing you fun and insights from everyday customers, inspiration from entrepreneurs and from my own life journey. So come on in and join me as I deep dive into the secrets of life and success. Shane McCarthy, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Excited to be here.
I collared him yesterday at the shop counter. The poor man doesn't know. In the morning at 8 o'clock.
Banter at the counter.
Welcome to the Batsy show. Yeah. This man's going to reconfigure my whole setup there. And my intro, I don't know, folks, if you like it or not, but he's going to change it, I'm sure. Shane, straight away when I met you there yesterday, I thought, geez, this guy'd be interesting to ask about startups and stuff. And it's the scene in Ireland, the startup scene, do you know?
Yeah.
And you mentioned you're into the psychology about things, about startups and stuff.
Yeah.
Let us know a bit about yourself and what you're at and why you're doing it and
I run
all the money you're making.
all the money, soon to be. My name is Shane McCarthy. I'm the CEO of VRM Social. It's a brand management company. I also recently launched a company called Relaunch Marketing.ie. So it's helping businesses either launch or relaunch during the pandemic. I was getting way too many inquiries about relaunching and launching. And then finally, I am the Chief Marketing Officer for a startup called HorsePay. It's an online transaction system for buying and selling horses. And it just recently closed the crowdfunding campaign of 120 grand on Spark crowdfunding. About me, I like technology, startups, marketing, psychology, American football, rugby, and soccer.
The most important part of that now is the soccer.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Which one?
I'm
Which
United,
one?
man.
Yeah, it's good man yourself. That's the stuff.
I've been since I was 3 years of age, my man. 27 years later, I'm quite strong.
I was a United fan at -5.
The way you have to be.
Yeah.
Before you even know you are.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the startup bug. You don't realise, and then you realise, okay, I'm a startup person. Okay.
The startup person.
That's my future.
Follow the winners, man. That's what it's about. I honestly, that's what I think. Listen, HorsePay. I mean, that's like, when you said it yesterday, right, I thought, I was trying to put it together myself, join the dots, as you kind of would, as a bit of an entrepreneur, be trying to join the dots, horses and PayPal. I kind of thought, how does that mix together? Do you know,
There's a huge issue, and has been for generations, literally decades and decades, around buying and selling horses.
Yeah.
Which is, I can buy a horse off you. I can tell you the horse is it's going to be, for argument's sake, a racehorse. You buy the horse, you give me the money. The horse isn't a racehorse at all. It's a box walker, which means it just walks around in circles.
And this happens a lot, does it?
This happens very, very regularly.
Wow.
And when you think that
there's a lot of money in these guys,
the horse industry is worth about 278 billion a year.
Billion, lads.
A year.
Jesus.
The Irish market, I think, is worth about 144 million. The UK market is substantially bigger. That's where we're going to next. I think we'll launch another crowdfunding campaign in the UK in most likely April, May of this year, or the year coming. We literally had a call about it 2 days ago, so most likely is a definite. But the point is, what we're trying to do, and what the Ian and Mike, they're my two co-founders in this.
What's the name? Ian and Mike?
Ian Gilmore and Mike O'Flynn.
Okay.
Mike O'Flynn's the CEO and Ian Gilmore's the COO. I was involved in this at the start, and then I took a bit of leave from it, to be honest, and then I got back involved again recently, So the boys are really the co-founders, and I'm joining in again. I was there at the start of it, but what we're trying to do here fundamentally is protect the buyer and the seller. That's it. So if you want to buy a horse, I go, okay, the horse is 10,000. That money goes and it's held in an escrow account. A vet comes in and checks the horse. Is the horse what they said the horse was? Everything is okay. Money gets released. Horse is okay. Both sides are protected, and we take a commission after set. Usually 5.9%, about 2.95% of each side. So very fair.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an industry, let's be very clear, that is crying out for digitization and has been for decades. It's one of the best untapped markets in plain sight, and we're just about to start having fun with it.
Good luck with that. That sounds really interesting.
It is, yeah, it's fascinating.
And
the model we're using is crazy as well, because a lot of people would disagree with crowdfunding, but it's got a huge potential.
Yeah, be think. Why would they disagree with it? What's their?
It's sort of a conflict with VCs. Crowdfunding. The thought process
I
behind
mean, what's the different VCs and crowdfunding?
Well, a VC wants
he's
you
going to
to
have
innovate.
control.
A VC wants you to pioneer new methods. A VC wants you to really set the benchmark, because as you do that, you're enabling a better exit for them and for you. You're enabling a better round of investment to come in, or you're more likely to get acquired. Whereas through crowdfunding, you have a mass community supporting you, which is hugely strong. But fundamentally, they're not really pushing you to innovate. They're pushing to get behind you so that if you exit at any stage, they'll make some money back on the way, or they'll get something out of it. Yeah. So there's a big difference. It's
you mentioned the word support with the second one, with crowdfunding.
Yeah.
It's like you're supported. With VCs, you're not really supported. You're supported financially, but...
You're supported in a different way. Like I was talking to a young guy up in Limerick recently, and when he found out I was back involved in HorsePay, he was like, "Shane, I think you're making a big mistake." Oh, yeah. I was like, "Do you think so? Why?"
How many times is that said? Like, yeah,
all the time. Yeah. Every day to me. Anyway. I don't know about you.
I often say, "What the hell are you doing?" Like,
yeah, on a daily basis. Wake up in the morning. What is life? But he said it to me. He said, "I think you're making a big mistake." And I said, "Look, maybe we are. But if you live and die by the sword, this is the game we play."
Yeah, you got to take the risk. You got to do something.
I think with a VC, you get far more support in respect to finance, but that's not a really good way to look at it from the perspective of they have a better network, they have a better community to tap into, be it from developers, for business people, etc. They probably can enable or improve route to markets because of their experience in certain industries. Like if you're going to a marketing investor, they will have invested in other marketing companies. Yeah. So therefore they have a network in that industry. Yeah. They can open doors for you.
So you'd nearly interviewed the VC, wouldn't you?
That's really important.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be getting overly excited because
just give me the money. Who's got the most money? It's not really about that. I mean,
this is a marriage. This is dating and a marriage. So you better be interviewing them.
Yeah.
Even for my marketing business, I interview clients. In other words, it's not I'm doing just a pitch and a proposal to you. You have to suit my remit.
That's brilliant. That's integrity. It's some sort of integrity involved.
You have to have values. Yeah. And the same for investors. You need to understand who you're getting into bed with.
Yeah.
You need to understand why they want to work with you, why you want to work with them. Yeah. And you need to have a clear pathway towards how this relationship is going to build and prosper. So it's advantageous for both sides.
Like the startup scene, we're talking really around the startup scene. Like, I'd be really enthusiastic about this podcast is based around inspirational stuff, and it came from watching different guys and listening to different things and listening to people over the counter talking about stories and stuff. And I get talking with people, and some, like I did with you yesterday, and here we are, right? I was really intrigued about people's inspirations, what makes them tick. A bit like yourself, you mentioned it before the podcast, the psychology of things. And the psychology of business, which I don't know, do people gloss over a bit? Like, do they embrace that? But
it just depends on the network you're probably in.
Depends, yeah.
If you look at scale Ireland, I think Ireland is a fantastic place to set up a startup. It's a fantastic place to set up a startup, and it's a terrible place to scale a startup. So they're two different things. To set up, you have a brilliant community.
Like scaling out or scaling up?
Scaling up, bigger, to take on more investment, to become a unicorn. To hit $1 billion valuation. The vast majority of companies, and there's a very few, minute amount, that have reached that standard at that level. Intercom is a messaging system, a messaging platform. 4 boys from Dublin, but they went to San Francisco and raised money. They have an office up in Dublin, fantastic, much like Stripe have.
Right.
But these are Irish unicorns, but are they really Irish unicorns? The boys that own them are Irish, or the lads or the people or the women that are involved that own them that are Irish. Ireland isn't set up for that. It isn't set up for scale. But it's not a place to scale. Now, if you look at a lot of the exits in Ireland, a lot of the exits are somewhere between 30 to 100 million. A lot. Like a serious amount.
Yeah.
Not saying there's anything wrong with that, some of these people. But they're fantastic people, and you have to take money off the table at some stage.
Yeah.
You can commit your life to something, but you have a family. There's people who have sacrificed so much for you as well.
And you've put the work in.
You've done this, and you deserve to take money, and you do. But how you take that and what the government get, how you look at, I read an article there recently that about 2 months ago, the country in the world with the most FDI in the last 9 months is Ireland. So that means to me that Ireland is set up for a country that's based on foreign direct investment. Yeah, that fundamentally means that we're not set up for indigenous Irish growth.
Yeah.
Because one is, we're going with the big boys.
Yeah.
They pay loads of taxes. They bring all these jobs. We can bring in staff from across Europe. We can give them all this. People are migrating towards Dublin. Cork, in fairness, is on the up. Kerry, there's amazing things happening all over the country, but fundamentally, I believe the country is set up for FDI. It's not set up for indigenous Irish growth. And if you look at something on Twitter like Scale Ireland, you look at what they're trying to do. They're trying to set down a mandate for government to support startups. And literally, it's in the word, scale. Not set up Ireland, scale Ireland. Because what they want is better infrastructure from governments, from local bodies, so that companies who could potentially scale have the ability or the infrastructure to scale if they want to do so. If they want to exit, no problem. Nobody's going to judge them. But if they want to scale, that the infrastructure is there. Because at the moment, it's not. From the money you would get from VC funds in Ireland, to employee share options, to EIIS schemes. If you look at the EIIS scheme in Ireland versus the one in the UK, we're not at the races at all. We're years behind them. We really are.
Really?
What investors can get there for their money versus what we're giving back to our guys or our ladies, it is just not. We're not at the races. Now, setting up in Ireland is fantastic. I like when I got into the startup scene.
You're smiling now. It's like it really excites you, right?
Yeah, but there's a lot of amazing people.
It is great. There's great energy about you. There's great energy. I'd say in the scene as well as there, like, you know.
No, I'll be honest, and there'll be people who'll probably listen into this and go, "Geez, I haven't heard from Shane in a while." No, go back to 2011, 12, up till probably 2016, 17. I was heavily involved in the startup scene in Ireland.
You mentioned that yesterday. Midwest?
I launched Startup Week in Limerick.
You're a Limerick man, right?
I'm a Limerick man. Or Gene Murphy, the one and only, brought me up to Dublin to Google's HQ. I was very, in awe of what was going on, to be honest. I'm a country boy, like, I never had the internet in my house. So I'm inside there, and Gene is like, "I'd like you to bring this down to Limerick." And I was like, "Oh man, definitely."
Fair play.
So we brought down that, and then in Cork, I think they had a Startup Digest.
What did you bring down to Limerick? Like,
It's a weekend. So Startup Weekend is a weekend event. It's a 3-day event that runs on a Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday. Fundamentally, you've 72 hours to build a startup, company.
That really is exciting. That's exciting.
Manic.
Yeah,
it is.
I'm straight away want to go. I want to go now.
I want to go now.
Yeah.
I want to participate. But I remember the first event in Limerick. Like, I think we had Tracy Keogh, who's the CEO of Grow Remote, fantastic company. Tracy's a very close friend of mine. But even I remember Tracy coming down, and she was doing the MC for the event. Now that's a really, really important job, because you have to get people pumped. People get stressed out a lot over the weekend.
I could imagine.
There's a lot of shit that can go wrong.
Yeah.
And Tracy is on it, and there was like 10 or 15 people who wanted to pitch. By the end of it, Tracy had about 35 or 40 people pitching ideas. People who had half an idea and they thought it was an idea. The
barman is like, "Give me a go."
The barman is like, "I have self-refilling points." When you touch a button, it just refills from underneath the table.
Hold on, I'm going to get the domain name for self-refilling.
Where is the cake? I have no idea, but self-refilling points. And there's a fellow over here, and he's like, I'm on a self-washing socks. Everybody has self something today. But Tracy done a fantastic job. But what you had was you'd start your company spinning out from that into Limerick's ecosystem. Because I said this to you yesterday.
So this is a serious thing, really. Like,
this happens all over Ireland.
Yeah.
Cork. Yeah. I went down and Robbie Skews, he's one of the owners and one of the partners in Collect.ie. Robbie brought me down. I was the MC at that. We were bringing this is the way it sort of worked. You're bringing people from different counties over, and now you're building and fostering relationships. Tracy brought us up to Galway. Ed Kavanagh was down for all of these. We brought down investors. We had people like John Peavoy, who used to be head of sales at Trust Ev. Ian Lucy used to come down and talk. These are all people who are,
they're passionate about it, aren't they?
Yeah, but these are legends in the Irish startup scene as well. Like, when you talk about Ed Kavanagh, Ed does slide decks for most of the big companies in the country. Most of the big startups. Yeah. When you talk about Ian Lucy, he's done some amazing things, and he's a well-known investor across the country. When you talk about Tracy, she was working in Bank of Ireland, but Tracy's the CEO of Grow Remote now, and every single person involved in Startup Weekend sort of knew where Tracy was going to go, to the top. Like, when you talk about Robbie, I mean, he's so grounded, he's so humble, but he's such a smart guy. But these are the people who are trying to help. the other people.
I like that.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, we had fantastic people from really big startup companies.
Yeah. And even yourself, you're so generous with your time, and time is important.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
but if the community doesn't foster and build itself, who does it? It always has to come from grassroots levels. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
The government don't know any better. They should know better because there's case and models all over the world that they could be replicating.
So is that the problem? Is that the mandate that
can influence them?
That's why Scale is set up. Sorry, is that in the mandate? Like
that's what Scale Ireland is trying to do.
Okay.
They're trying to put something. They're trying to put a narrative and a community together that can have enough influence on the government that they'll actually listen. Because if you look at Barry Lunn, Brian Caulfield, Pat Phelan, Martina Skelly, there's a lot of people that have gone online in the last few years and told the government what we need when it comes to budget time. They've told them what scaling startups need. They've told them, no, I'm not at the level of some of those people. Let's be very clear. They have scaled companies or exited companies from a multitude of millions and are on the pathway to doing it again. Let's be very clear. These people are serial winner entrepreneurs. But when you see them putting out narratives and they all have consistent narratives around what we need, you start listening and the government isn't listening. So what happens is, and this is why I love the community in Ireland, is they're not whinging. They give out. But then they go, right, well, what are we going to do now?
That's the fight. That's the fighting spirit, isn't it?
Action.
Yeah.
So what did they do? They went to end up, they had Tech Ireland and now they're Scale Ireland. And Scale Ireland is a community of really,
it's a non-government body.
Experienced startup people coming together to try and encourage the government to behave the right way, to encourage startups to grow and scale in Ireland.
Isn't that ironic? You're trying to inspire the government. You're trying to encourage the government.
Well,
I mean,
no disrespect,
it should the other way around, like.
Well, in theory, yeah, but fundamentally, no. I think we both know that. How many people in government in Ireland right now have built or scaled startup companies? Because if the answer is less than 3, how are you going to have any influence? You've watched, they put up the vote yesterday on the nurses. There were 75 against paying the student nurses and 72 for paying it. So just do simple maths. That means there's 146 people there voting on that. And I'm going, okay, so if less than 2 or 3 people were involved in the startups and know anything about it, should have no influence. How many people do you see up there when it came to budget talking about startups and the need for it? And when you see the talent that has left this country, when you see
I was listening this morning, I thought,
just look at Stripe.
Yeah, Stripe, yeah.
So Stripe is worth billions and they haven't even gone into an IPO yet. Billions. PayPal have invested into Stripe. When you look at, they left because they couldn't get support there. When you look at that, when you see where companies have to set up or where they've gone, yeah. But I wouldn't get away from the fact there is amazing people in this country. When I see what Tracy Keogh is doing at Grow Remote, when I see that,
they're not going to let go of it.
Tracy had an idea a few years ago that, this remote working was going to become a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it has. And before COVID, for 2 years, she had a position. But the people that were helping her and the community that her and her partners have built out, all of it was volunteer. Like, you do it because of passion. You do it because you believe. Yeah. And that's the one thing I love about the startup scene in Ireland. Yeah. And that's the one thing, when I got into the startup scene in Ireland, in Limerick in 2011, I was a country bloke who never had the internet in his house.
Come on, you must have had some
Never had the internet.
Set up.
The closest I got was when I was 16, and it would take 25 minutes of, that internet dial tone. And I was just trying to get onto Championship Manager, to see could I get, Dean Sanders or someone to play with Burton, because he was great at scoring goals in the second division or whatever. But that's what I was looking at. And I remember I was telling you this yesterday, and excuse me using bad language on your podcast.
It's okay. It's explicit. I always put it explicit.
I went to a startup event, my first ever startup event at the Castle Troy Park Hotel. I arrived in and I'd say there must have been 50, 60 people there, and everybody's in a short suit and a tie.
What age were you?
I'm 22 at this stage, I'd say. And I'm in a blue hoodie with bright blue black trainers on. And the fella looks at me and he's like, "Are you lost?" I look him up and down. I'm like, "You fucking lost." I'm thinking to myself, everything I've seen from startup world is not what you are. And it's a lot more what I am. But I'm the only one here that looks out of place. And I'm thinking to myself, and I was like, okay. And I went to another couple of more events, and it was mostly male, which disappointed me. There was very few females involved. I was going, okay.
It's typical males in suits, yeah.
Yeah, most of the famous entrepreneurs that I know in Limerick are female. So, there's a bit of a contrast there. Like,
it's not great.
When we were told about it, and we were told you need to look up to Ronnie Barry, or you need to look at Martina Skelly, or you need to look at these people, and I'm going, okay, fair enough.
Were you on the crest of this? Like, I was thinking this morning, the internet's probably 40 years old, whatever, is it?
The internet is still in its early stages, mate.
It's a new thing, lads, It's still new.
It was really, really new when the lads started building the stuff that they built to give us what we can do today. But let's be very, very clear about it. What was I reading a couple of weeks ago? 23% of shopping in Ireland is done online, if even. 23% of businesses in Ireland have websites.
Yeah.
Okay. That'll tell you how early we still are.
Yeah.
When everybody has a website, you're going, okay, it's a bit more established. Stripe are saying is it 7% of all payments globally are online payments? Okay, that means there's 93% to go. We're at base camp of Everest here, like. You know what I mean? We're
true, yeah.
very, very early, like. And we're only finding out what other certain pieces of technology can do. How is artificial intelligence going to change this? How is augmented reality? How is virtual reality going to enhance all of these? Behaviorisms are changing hugely.
And obviously you're a brand marketer. For HorsePay, and branding is your thing, right?
Yeah. Back in the day, you do a brand and you're looking at values that you hold dear, and you're looking at some sort of color palettes that you want, and you're looking at what kind of message are you trying to get across? But all brands, all the established brands have had to change. What really was a catalyst for me was Michael O'Leary doing the Ice Bucket Challenge. When you see someone who's so staunch in a way that they behave, I would have never have thought Michael O'Leary would have done an Ice Bucket Challenge. I'm not saying he's not charitable. I don't know the guy. Yeah. I'm just saying, from a PR standpoint, that's not Michael O'Leary's remit. When a CEO like that, with that reputation, feels that to create positive influence from a public perspective, that they have to do something like the Ice Bucket Challenge to show Ryanair in a certain light, I'm going, now the public can hugely influence brands, from McDonald's trying to be healthier, people being more plastic conscious, people, I run a couple of different restaurant brands, and the amount of inquiries we get about our packaging, and is it disposable, how is it recyclable, is it this, people are a lot more conscious now.
Yeah.
But the point I'd make on the branding side is there was a traditional way to build a brand. Like in 3 or 4 years' time, you're going to go in and you're going to fill out a doc. And you're going to fill out key points about yourself and key points in messaging stuff and etc. And an AI system is going to map and build all that brand for you. Because that's the way it's going to be. And you lose the art of building the brand. Like, my girlfriend is a designer.
Yeah.
So there's an art form, and there really is. I have a full appreciation for this now. My partner is a designer. And when I see what she does and the skill and the look, I'm going, okay, I love it. But that's the future. We're only
starting, right?
We're literally in junior infants.
Yeah,
and that's where we are with the internet.
And folks, you're on about Google search, right? You're typing into Google search, right? That's the question that was coming up for me. I was like, do you not realise if you're not branded right, and you're not on artificial intelligence, like Alexa, what's the best phone shop in Killarney? It's Phone Savers, by the way. Don't you know that? You should know that. That's what she'd say. Right?
Of course. Yeah, there is no other.
There's no.
Yeah. The one, the only Phone Savers.
And by the way, he does a good old podcast there. Like Alexa would probably say that back to you, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And she finds it. And if you're not on top of the pile, you're lost. So branding, 100%. Folks. If do businesses, I was looking into this a bit. I was going to set up a branding thing myself, right? The established marketing companies, it's TV, radio, billboards.
My language with a pile of shit.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
It's a pile of shit.
Yeah.
The traditional agency model is dead.
I thought the same.
No, it is dead.
They won't let go too easy.
Of course, they don't want to let go. These are companies that made millions and millions and millions for years, been able to do all this, and now people like me are coming in and, excuse my language, to fuck it all up. And why? Because that's not the way it should be done now. Now it's about buying space on Facebook. It's about buying space in a person's mind. It's about how can you help them. Like I wrote a piece.
I spent an ad there. I checked it there yesterday. $3.50 I paid for a click on Facebook. Believe it, 350. I mean, it was like 10 cent, like not too long ago. You know?
Yeah, see, Facebook have changed their algorithms. Like, you pay to play, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So if you don't understand narrative or positioning on Facebook, that's exactly the shit you'll get. Like.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, you know.
Help.
but this is the point. Those agencies are dead. I literally had a girl ringing me 2 days ago. She's interviewing for one of those agencies. And she was asking me, she read out the job spec. She was like, what do you think this will be? I was like, bet you business development for one of those traditional agencies. She's, what do you think they'll say? I was like, they'll tell you that they want to migrate towards the future. They want to do all this. But I was like, business development is just a sexy title for sales. I was like, they want you because you're young. You'll make them look a bit more modern. No, she'll find out. She'll find out tomorrow whether she gets the job, and I'm sure she'll let me know. She's a close friend of mine. But I do, look, to go back to your question, the agency model is dead.
It's still a bit alive a bit, like
it's dead from the perspective of everybody knows it's fucking dead. It's alive from the perspective that there's some companies that still don't want to move away from the tried and tested routine. But these aren't as effective. If you look at the growth of some of these brands in the last few years, so if you look at from WeWork to Stripe to Uber, excuse the way that they were led or the growth or whatever, you look at some of these companies and you're going, what they've done in 5 or 10 years has made them worth 10 times more. Slack, the acquisition, Slack being bought up by, not Microsoft.
I was looking at that on Twitter. Slack, what was it? Is it 28 billion?
Salesforce. Why was it? 27 billion.
Yeah.
They're being bought up by Salesforce. Like
huge.
Slack, but Slack is,
And there was trouble with that at the start. There was a lot of trouble.
Yeah, of course it was. It was set up as a total different thing.
Yeah.
But this is 10 years old. I mean, as a byproduct of Salesforce buying Slack, their share price dropped 38 billion. And they're paying 27 billion for Slack. So the market wasn't really too happy with it. But the principle you're getting to is, when you can see WhatsApp being sold for 16 billion or for 18 billion, and you're going, they had something like 20 staff.
Was that cheap?
Yeah, because they had 16 or 20 staff. If I told you can grow your phone store, or this store here, phone savers to 20 staff, and somebody's going to come in and buy it for 20 billion, what are you going to say? Thank you very much, kind sir.
Exit stage
left. To cut your lawn tomorrow as well, by the way, just as a reward to say thanks. Yeah, is that cash or check you want to pay me? Like,
Yeah.
But my point being that's where technology has advanced. Companies can grow and scale in a way that they never could before. You've companies that are around 100 years that have so much reputational capital behind them, social capital, but their valuations in comparison to the modern companies' valuations are catastrophically different. Why? Because of social clout, because of what they can do online, because of markets and the way that they've raised money and investment. It's just colossally different. But I'm excited is where I am, even with all this, like, the internet just presents a beautiful opportunity to everyone.
Isn't it amazing? Like, do you know what it's done, I think?
I walked into a shop yesterday to get my phone fixed because my phone was dying.
Yeah.
We walked past
and we did a great job, by the way. Yeah.
Fantastic job.
Thanks very much.
Absolutely. I was in my element sitting down at home last night. We're sitting at my girlfriend's house and I'm on the phone and I'm like, it didn't die 7 seconds later. What is this beast in my hand that actually works? So, fantastic.
Go on.
Phone savers, Clarny, everybody. Come down, meet John.
I think I maxed it out.
Banter at the counter. You know what you're doing. There's only one place in Kerry to get your phones fixed. I should be on the radio, shouldn't I?
You should be on the podcast. Sorry.
That's coming down the line. But I just think this goes back to the psychology of it. So
yeah, you're big into the psychology thing. I would be as well,
I'm big into the psychology because I think people. The tagline for my new business is "Get out of your own way."
Yeah.
Get out of your own way.
Yeah.
Why? Because for years I got in my own way, and for years now I'm seeing people get in their own way. In the last,
like Shane, you're only 31. To know that you should get out of your own way at 31, right?
Oh yeah.
Is quite lucky. It's
That's
fortuitous.
just because I've made enough fuck ups.
Well, yeah.
I've lost,
fail well. That's on another podcast about failing.
Failing is all part of the journey, man.
Yeah.
Fundamentally for everybody. And everybody fails in somewhere.
And there's no such thing really when you look at it like that then, is there?
I just think it's all, you
learning.
You win or you learn, John Kavanagh,
Yeah.
And I believe in that fully. I believe, this is a lifestyle thing. I remember at the start, I used to be telling people, a lot of these startup people, and they'll all smirk now if any of them are listening to this. I'll be a billionaire by 30. They're looking at me going, of course you will, Shane.
God love us.
God loves to try it. But they knew that this is, the average age of a successful startup founder, I think, is 35, 36. There's a
35, 36.
Yeah. So you're 10 to 15 years in. And a lot of the people who've exited, you'll see them, and a lot of these people are very grounded. I remember Pat Phelan doing a post on it, and him saying, 10 to 15 years to be an overnight success.
Yeah.
And you look at a lot of their journeys, and I'm going, so I'm excited. I'm in the early stages of my career yet. I still have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
You
have a lifetime ahead of you, like.
But so does everybody else, and this is the thing, like.
And it's never too late. I mean, I'm 53 and I'm kind of only starting properly, and I've been in self-employed.
When did your man start
30 years.
When did your man start KFC? 70, was it?
That's right, yeah. He was something like that, yeah.
Okay,
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Age is but a number, like.
Yeah.
Gary Vee talks about it all the time.
He does, and he's great. He's a great inspiration too, by the way.
People that like him or they hate him, I don't think he gives a shit either way. Pretty much like myself, to be honest.
That's the way to do. I mean, you're by yourself in this a lot, aren't you? In your own.
Your biggest challenge is probably the thoughts in your own mind, and it's the same for everybody else. But if you don't believe in you, you don't love you, and you don't appreciate you, then what are you doing?
You mentioned a few people close to you that are kind of travelling alongside you. It's important to have good people near you on the journey, like someone that will inspire you and encourage you.
Yeah,
and that's who are there for you as well, and who kind of match your.
They don't have to
understand
trajectory. You. They don't have to understand the journey you're on. They just have to understand what that journey means to you. Like a lot of the people closest to me, they don't understand what I do. I could sit down and tell them for 10 hours, and at the end of it all, they'd still go, I still don't get it. I've sisters that help me become stronger. They help me work on my mind. They ask me the right questions or ask me things at the right time, or push me to behave in a better way. One of my sisters is, she's big into CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy. And I'll say certain things on a phone call to her, and she will be like, oh, that's the wrong language. You need to talk like this. And what she's trying to do is encourage positive reinforcement of words within the narrative I use, so that it's not negative. And the language you use with yourself is so important.
Yeah.
My other sister,
it's like I can't or I will.
Which way is it? We will.
We will.
We can't.
We can't.
I wouldn't do that if I was you. Try it and see how you get on.
Give it a go.
If not, I'll be here to support you if it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because it's not the same. I'll run 100 yards and you run 100 yards. Okay. No, you're look a lot fitter than I am. So we're going to have a very different journey running that 100 yards. Now, if I run my 100 yards first and I fall over and hurt myself, I come back. I wouldn't do that if I was you. Well, no, sorry. It's the same 100 yards, but it's a very different experience.
Yeah.
Me running it and you running it. I'm overweight and that's not going to be good for me. You look a lot fitter. Maybe a lot faster for you. You're going to come back and go, geez, that was great.
I fall a bit myself.
That was great. Yeah. That was great fun. So you are then going to go to the next person. You should run that, definitely. See what I mean? It's the same journey, in theory. But it's very, very different. But I do think, going back to the psychology is key, my man. Because
is psychology big in the startup world and in established corporate world?
What I like is
or is it just a thing of a tax write-off? Get a few lads in.
You have to be focused on it now. You have to. There's no way around it. The only way remote work is going to work at the level that it should be working at. The only way it should be working at the level it's going to work at is if they understand how the psychology of remote workers works, how effective it is, how they can manage them. How is a HR manager going to manage 300 staff from across? But they will. Let's be very clear. If you were to talk
you can already log people in and see how much time they're using on a project.
The principle behind Slack, the fundamentals of how they were bought by Salesforce is productivity and output.
Yeah.
I love the narrative they're trying to use to say they want to create better function, better processes, better adaptability and better organizational structure. They want to take away the issues or the problems that are there in management. But I do think psychology is. And I think there's a much greater appreciation now for how important the mind is, for how important people's mental health is. Whether we go to a 4-day work week, whether people need time off.
I mean, it's important. Like, I remember when I was going to college in IT Tralee, doing computers and stuff. And I remember one of the lecturers were doing, computer science and, one of the lovely ones, and she said, lads, some of you are going to crack up. Jeez, I got worried. I mean, huh? But she said, no, genuinely, one of you going to actually probably crack up because usually there's one per class.
Yeah, that's just terrible.
Like, I know.
You know,
I was like,
yeah, lads, don't do startups or you might fail. Well, you know, most of them do fail. So, you know, that's not really. I'd be like, you know, lads, do startups. Why? Because you may create something the world has never seen. And, you know, if you want to take a chance, if you want to back yourself. But this is the thing.
But the psychology is like, it's tough mentally is what I mean, isn't it?
It is brutal, but you gotta love that. I mean, like, if you want to change the world, it's not going to be easy for anybody. It's not going to be
easy, man. You got to sleep in your couch. I mean, Steve Jobs slept in his couch. I mean, Elon Musk.
I had working 24/7 for 2 years, man.
Totally get it. I spent the last year drilling down into branding and podcasting.
We refused funding in 2012. I'm not joking. Myself and my business partner genuinely ate beans in toast for about 2 years.
And what was this?
We had a company called Taxi Chief, a bookings, dispatch and CRM system for taxi operators. So I think a different slant of Uber or Free Now, Halo, Free Now, literally that, but 4 years earlier.
What happened?
We refused funding. Because we were stupid and naive and inexperienced and egotistical. I think those are enough buzzwords.
What did you refuse?
A lot of money.
Go on. A lot of money. Figure drop.
A couple of million anyway, plus, right?
Jesus Mary.
You know, you're talking more than, just say 2.5, 3.5 million. No. Why? Because we don't want it. Why don't you want it? Because we're not giving away that much equity. You know, and you look back now and go, you idiot. You idiot. You know, but the other side is, but I wouldn't have been a good CEO. They would have shafted me in some way. I would have shafted me.
Do you know, looking back, what kind of went wrong with that?
But I wasn't going to be a good CEO. The fact that we turned down the money, but it wasn't that. It wasn't that. We didn't understand the idea that was in front of us.
Okay.
I think a lot of the time that I still don't drive, by the way, to this day.
You don't?
I don't drive. I got a bus down to Kerry yesterday from Killarney. I'll be driving next year. I got driving lessons last year. I've never had the need to. Now I do. Like,
you get chauffeured around the place. You could have got chauffeured around if you took the money. Like.
Yeah, I could have done that. Yeah, if you'd taken the money. But I back then, so neither me or my business partner Keith at the time drove. So we didn't I don't think either of us appreciated the magnitude of the idea that was in front of us. That this was a huge problem. Now take into account, John, we went across the country. I spent 800 to 1,000 hours in taxi bases all over Ireland. I mean Dublin, Cork, Waterford, Galway, Kerry, everywhere. Sitting in bases, sitting in cars with drivers when customers were coming in, watching all the issues they had. And still, I was just too naive. Just inexperienced. It's not even, you know, we did do the hard work. And we built the system.
A lot of research.
We co-created it with a company in Limerick, with a taxi company.
So it wasn't just a thought, and it wasn't.
We had software. We had it working. We had a functional
people
product.
think,
we won Startup of the Year on New Frontiers in Limerick. We won Company to Watch Out For. I won the Young Entrepreneur of the Year at the Cork Bic. Emerging Entrepreneur of the Year. Yeah, these are all great things, but the product went nowhere. You know, at the time I'm there, Shane's all over the newspaper thinking I'm great. If we know now what we could have known
hindsight is a great thing.
Yeah. You'd understand, okay, what are we trying to get here? Well, do we want to bootstrap the company like someone like Teamwork down in Cork? Or do we want to take investment into the company? That would have been the first call. Okay.
Should you have bootstrapped it like?
No, I don't think an idea like that is within reason you can bootstrap. Why? Because there's too many car companies or people with that interest trying to get into the space. Like, you know, Halo or Free Now, I can't remember who, and I don't want to give out any misinformation here.
Yeah.
But they're part owned by one of these big car companies.
Yeah.
Uber, there's a bucket load. But from Volkswagen to BMW to whoever, they're all trying to get into this space. So you trying to bootstrap against multi-billion euro companies is going to be very, very difficult. Back then, maybe because those companies hadn't started moving into it.
That's what I was thinking. There's a lot of dinosaurs around.
Yeah, there would have been, but again, we didn't have the startup savviness. You know, when you're in the startup game a while, you start seeing patterns, you understand.
And you're into patterns, like?
I'm madly into patterns now, years later. But back then...
Was that why you got interested in it? You kind of thought, I'm not going to...
I just think I fell in love with marketing. When we refused to take on funding, we had to build a market, we had to build a brand ourselves. So the company was Blue Chief. The first product was Taxi Chief. The second product was Roster Chief. You get me?
I get it, Chief. I get it, Chief.
You get it, you know, and that's what people used to be like, "Hi, Chief." You know?
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
No, but that was, years on, you shouldn't be calling anything Chief like that. You'll get in trouble. But when you look back, that's how I got into marketing, was having to build that brand and having to build them. But to go back to it, John, look, we just weren't experienced enough to understand the idea, the size of the idea or opportunity that was in front of us. And if we were, maybe we'd be having a different conversation. But
maybe so.
I'd probably have a different life, and I'm quite happy with the life I have at the moment.
Yeah.
It goes back to that psychology thing, you know.
What drives you?
That whole line, be the change you want to see in the world. World domination. I want to change the world. I mean, I want to be a world player in my area, and my area is marketing.
Yeah.
My area is building scalable brands. My area is the future of marketing, the future of branding, narrative, messaging, positioning.
And it's the internet. It's that's what it is at the moment. It's definitely that.
So how is that going to work? How is technology going to improve this? How is AI going to influence it? You know, like I told you, I'm already thinking about my next big idea. We've had a couple of big ones that, you know, HorsePay is a fantastic idea. I think that'll really go somewhere.
Yeah.
I love the concept. I love the idea of being able to protect people's investment into something, and be able to protect both a buyer and
morally it stands well by itself there, you know.
It does. Yeah. I just love the concept of protecting people.
Yeah.
I love the concept of being there for people who, in an industry where they haven't been protected or minded.
It's that startup ethos is kind of in your blood.
Yeah, community ethos. Yeah. And that's the big thing, like through that crowdfunding campaign, like Mike and Ian, we done a great job together. But one of the things I have to say is the horse community, the equine community in Ireland, they come out in their droves to support us. Brilliant. They came out in their droves.
So they saw a need. Like
they went, you're trying to help us.
Yeah.
You're trying to mind us and protect us. Whether we want to buy or we want to sell, you're going to be there for us to mind our money and protect the integrity of what we do. And we went, yes, we fucking are. And they went, we're going to support you because you said it like you said it. And we went, thank you very much.
Excellent. That's great, man.
You know,
and that's what the government should be doing, by the way, lads. That's what you should be doing, government. You know.
Yeah. Look, there's a lot of times you could say that, but I look. The government is the government.
Yeah, you know? But it's still
the way that they have it set up is the way they have it set up.
I know. Yeah.
We'll influence them as much as we can to get the scenario, situations, or infrastructure in place that are needed. But you know, when you see votes like last night, it's just tough, like.
I know.
It's not just for the starter for the business game. When you see,
and you get a bit cynical, don't you? Disillusioned, so you just got to move on.
But it's just you just get frustrated. Like you need to play the game. You can't win all the battles, right?
No. But you can.
Your job is to try. Yeah, and your job is to understand when to try or how to try.
And it means that you try, even if you fail. The trying means
you have to keep on going.
Keep going,
because if not, what are you supposed to do?
My motto is never give up.
Yeah,
don't give up.
I told you, I have a bracelet.
Yeah.
It says two words on my bracelet. It says forward always, literally.
Yeah. Excellent.
You know, that's the psychology.
Keep going.
I think these things are hugely important. I think you need to position yourself and train your mind.
Yeah.
And I think that in any walk of life, genuinely. I think if you want to be a better person in a certain way, I think if you want to have more empathy, I think if you want to have a more positive outlook on life, I think, you know, I found it, or at times can find it very hard to sleep at night. But I wouldn't be, not because I'm worried, not because I'm anxious. I don't really get anxious about anything. Just my mind gets really active. Yeah, but then it's like, okay, am I going to leave that be something? No, because I understand sleep is important. So now I have games I try to play, memory games, challenge games for my mind, things that will. So your mind is just, it's like a muscle, and it's not tired because I haven't exercised it enough that day.
Yeah.
Or I'm exercising it too much, but I'm exercising it late at night. Like I told you, I came in, you said you drinking coffee. I said, no, milk in the morning. I'd be too wired to be climbing on the ceilings if I had coffee.
I must get a few bottles of milk. That's what it does. Yeah, I must get a few pints of milk.
But you get my point. Like, there's a scenario where I'm not sleeping. There's a scenario where I understand sleep is important. And then...
You're revved up. You're excited about life.
Yeah, but the question is, what do you do then? Because if you know you have a problem, and you know what the problem is, and you know the net effect of having that problem, you can sit down and tell everybody I don't sleep and I don't sleep and I don't sleep. That's excuse my language, that's not fucking good to anybody.
Yeah.
You know sleep is important, you know it can benefit your health, and you know it's good for your mind. Okay, so if you're not sleeping, fix the fucking problem in some respect. Now, some people may need medication, some people need to exercise.
Yeah.
For me, it's usually because my mind hasn't been exercised enough that day. So, what do I do to exercise my mind? Now you put these scenarios in place, and now, thus, you can sleep better. Excellent. Now, what's the next problem I have to solve?
Yeah. So there are no problems, only solutions, you know?
There is, yeah. And there's, there's a lot of things there's a lot of problems. But the fun is trying to find the solutions.
How do you embrace problems? I see them as lately, a lot, I see them as opportunities. Like,
yeah.
And then you embrace the responsibility of solving it when you see it like that.
Why did I set up Relaunch Marketing.ie? For about 2 months, I had people annoying me. And not annoying me, I had people worried. And some people I care about going, my business is going under.
Yeah.
My business is struggling. I can't make money. I'm going to have to fire 20 staff. I need to relaunch this, or I need to launch this. I was sitting down at home one night. Myself and my missus went to bed. Half an hour later, Shane's not sleeping again. Wonderful. I was like sitting lying down in bed, pitch dark. I'm going, surely somebody has bought Relaunch Marketing.ie. Surely. I'm thinking, fuck this. Jump up out of bed. Out
Domain king.
Yeah, out to Let's Host. Hello, to relaunchmarketing.ie.
I'm the same as you.
It's available. Yeah. Okay, relaunchmarketing.com. Oh, okay. Excellent. So I'm over in Canva. I'm over here doing different media stuff on this side. I'm on to Crella. Going to, we have brand docs we use. VRM does, it's a brand setup doc or a website. It's a 19-page doc on building a brand and a website. And we give it to every business at the start so that they can rationalize their thoughts. Some brilliant questions in it, by the way. So I'll ask you a couple now. If Fawn Savers was an actress, who would she be?
Oh, Julia Roberts.
Okay.
Julia Roberts, man.
If Fawn Savers was an actor, who would it be?
What you meant? Al Pacino.
Al Pacino?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would be definitely Al Pacino. Yeah.
If Fawn Savers could live somewhere, where would it live?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. If Fawn Saver had a brand, if your brand had friends, who would they be?
As in actors and stuff?
Yeah.
Jesus. That's flummoxed me now, because that's getting a bit like, who do I want Phone Savers to... See, I run it. See, just to come up straight away. I'm running it myself, and I don't want anyone messing with it.
Yeah, but the point is, who do you associate with? Who does your brand... So, what this is trying to manifest in your own mind is, in 12 months, if you wanted to do a strategic partnership, what kind of brands locally? Because those brands should probably have the values of the answers you would give right now. Do you get me?
Yeah.
If your brand was an animal, what animal would it be?
Leopard.
Why?
It's kind of like...
Because it doesn't change the spots?
Yeah.
This is what
and
the 19-page doc
lately
does.
I'm trying to change the spots, but it hasn't changed enough yet. Actually, it hasn't changed enough. Yeah.
So this is what the doc is. It's a 19-page doc that really makes you think about your brand.
And that's why we got into branding. To brand.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And do you know what my favourite saying is? Is branding, in marketing, you try to get the girl to kiss you. Branding, she just wants to. I just thought...
You get yourself in trouble saying
I know,
that,
but I just thought... So, any friends who wants to be friends with Phone Savers?
Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts might
that one. She's not.
Maybe she'll knock at the door.
Al Pacino tell you it's 6 inches in front of your face. That's what living is. But it.
Do you know what though? It's fun, isn't it?
Branding. Branding
fun,
is. I love it. I genuinely do. I love. So I met a HR company recently, right? This guy, and he wanted to get into HR. And where I think I'm different, or where my company is different the most, is I'm an entrepreneur first, a businessman, and I'm a marketeer second. I just happen to be exceptionally good at marketing. That's the way I look at it. From the companies, I've spent literally millions on advertising on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn in the last 5 to 6 years. Millions.
LinkedIn is totally underrated.
And I'll highlight, by the way, I have no marketing qualifications. This is the funny thing. I didn't do marketing in college. I did economics and politics. I left there and got into the startup world. I got into the startup world and only got into marketing because we refused the funding. But I have guest lectured in marketing in Trinity College, UCC, UCD, DCU, NUIG, UL. I even wrote a curriculum for a marketing module inside UL. And just gave it to them because I was annoyed that they were sending me marketing students to be interviewed and they had no real marketing understanding. I done a project for Heineken. Did you? And did you do any advertising on Facebook or Instagram? Oh, no, we didn't touch social media. This is in 2016. Like, how can you come to me and tell me you understand marketing if you haven't touched social media inside college? So I done all of these things.
And still it isn't really,
No,
it's only
not,
now
because
it's
they
kind
don't
of
understand
infiltrating
it.
colleges, you know.
How you can't teach social media marketing.
I'm amazed
unless you've done
it isn't on.
But you can't teach it. Those lecturers are probably there for the last 10, 15 years. Unless they're running side businesses where they're doing this stuff, you can't teach it. That's why they got me into guest
Shane,
lecturing
like
this stuff.
even there, I was going to set up a branding company myself, and I have the thing kind of the bones, the foundations of it set up. But I could totally see the opportunities are massive.
Oh yeah, the branding is and how technology is going to influence how brands are set up is key. Like I have a huge fascination with narrative and messaging positioning, because that's what really becomes. Think I did the whole program admin back in the day. The boys doing ads in the 50s and the 60s and.
Yeah, it's like that series I watched about the advertising industry years ago.
Is it admin or what's the name
of
it? But that's the core competencies of that is still the same. It's just digitized and different. So I'm working with a hair salon, and hopefully they'll soon grow to a franchise or a big hair salon model. But one of the partners inside that, he's a traditional marketer, really, really smart guy, really high level of intelligence. But we talk all the time about it. The marketing hasn't changed that much. It's just digitized. The behaviorisms are just slightly different. But so we were putting up a post last night after I left here. We were doing something and I was writing copy for some ad that had to be launched today. And he came back and he was like, "What you think?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fairly slick." And he wrote back, "Did you like the 1950s slant in it?" Because he was trying to integrate language from the 50s. And I was like, "Yeah, the old meets the new to build a better future." And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
The old isn't dead.
That's
just reliving itself in a different way.
Interesting, because I remember I got talking to a guy here in the shop once, like I do,
Yeah.
Because you can't
banter,
shut me up.
Banter at the counter.
Banter. Another plug, keep plugging. Plug, keep plugging. So I got talking to him, and he was in the advertising game, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, geez, that's great. I said, "Well, are you busy, He said, geez, his face dropped, right? This is probably 2 years ago.
Okay, yeah.
I said, "Well, advertising, how long are you advertising?" He said, "Jesus, years and years. Jesus, probably a couple of 20 years, And he said, "It's all online," and his face dropped. The man just couldn't embrace it, man.
Yeah.
And I knew at the time, I go, "You're going to lose your business," I said to myself in my head, you could see it. Like,
they will, yeah, absolutely. But they'll hold on to for a certain length of time. But the question is, who's going to take over from them? It should be someone like me. And what I mean by somebody like me, somebody who believes fundamentally still in the value of the traditional methods and the methodologies, the core principles behind a lot of them, but who can adapt them and adopt them for the modern methods. Buyer personas of old have only changed to ad sets on Facebook.
It's just the medium. The medium has changed.
Patterns of behaviors and how consumers digest content in the old days have now changed to algorithms and systems that Instagram or Facebook have set up. If you understand how all these work, you understand how to maximize effectiveness. I've never understood. I'll give some advice here. Somebody can absolutely, hopefully, steal this idea, but I've never understood why somebody hasn't created pods in Ireland. And what I mean by pods is, like, if you look at orcas or dolphins, they have pods, right? They have pods that go together. Orcas for hunting, and dolphins for community, so that they can be there and they enjoy each other's company and whatever else, right?
Yeah.
But what a pod is a community of brands, right? Now, if you look at the net effect of algorithms, so take Facebook's algorithm. Facebook will give you about 5 or 10% of your audience. So if you, as an example, if you have 5,000 likes on Facebook, Facebook will allow about 500 people of those likes to see your content. Now, what they want to do is they want to see, do those people like your content? And if they do like your content, then Facebook creates a lookalike audience similar to those, not your followers, but a similar type audience, and shares the content to those people. And if those people like it, Facebook does it again. Excellent. Now, to me, that's a pattern. And I'm going, well, if you were smart enough, you would create a pod of just, say, 30 companies. Each one of those companies, when the other person puts up content, they would like and engage the content. Now, that works around the algorithm. That tells Facebook's AI system that when this business posts phone savers, that these other businesses and people like the content. thus increasing the amount of people that keep seeing your content. And that just goes down to understanding how the algorithm works.
So it's simple. So the old traditional methods, right?
Yeah.
The actual thought processes, the experience, the knowledge base of the advertising industry, the old way. It's not like, I can remember your man was going, I can't do this because it's different. But he didn't realise.
He just doesn't understand. So
all he has to do is embrace the algorithms or get someone to do the algorithm stuff
or just
for
understand.
him.
So that fella, right, is probably very good at writing one-liners. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, the guy is good. He's got an advertising
You take the principle behind that, John, and you go to Facebook. And when you launch about 60% of ads on Facebook, you have either 255 characters or 25 characters. So a perfect stocking filler is 25 characters. Go look that shit up. How do I know that? Because I'm working with a company in Dublin at the moment called Chocolate Spoons. And they're giving out these, what are supposedly the nicest hot chocolates in the world. You dip these spoons into hot milk, gorgeous. But I know that the copy that I need to get clicked on is a perfect stocking filler. Why? Because we're in the run up to Christmas. People are looking for stocking fillers. And it just happens that a perfect stocking filler is 25 characters. So that person, nobody has sat down with him and gone, actually, let's call him Ben. Ben, hey, how's it going? I'm going to sit down with you for 3 or 4 hours, Ben, and I'm going to show you how Facebook advertising works. And at the end of all this, Ben, you're going to understand that you're not a dinosaur. Yeah. You're actually, excuse my language, but a fucking genius. You just don't know it yet. That's the difference. Yeah. They look at it and, no to Facebook, no to social media, no, down with that sort of thing. But nobody has sat down with them to explain it.
So is there an opening to to help these dinosaurs?
I was literally propositioned with it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I would say so.
I met somebody to talk about how my agency works. And they work in a more traditional agency in Dublin. And they want to have a discussion in January. Now, look, you can't be all things to all men. It sounds great. And much like you, John, I'm sure, or any other startup person or entrepreneur, you get ideas all the time.
Yeah.
Ideas are one thing. Execution is everything.
Execution.
So it sounds great, me saying these, but there's ideas and opportunities everywhere. I don't know if you're the same, but I know lots of people that I have a Rolodex of ideas on my phone.
Yeah.
You know, it's under thumbprint as well. So if you wanted, John, you'd have to chop off my thumb. There must be 300 or 400 ideas there of gaps or opportunities. But I have HorsePay. I have to manage that and grow that because we love that company. We love the opportunity there. And I have my other 2 babies, VRM and Relaunch. And that's where you have to polarize your focus because...
But isn't this like... I call it... This is fascinating to me because I kind of step back and I go, okay, I think I've realised the first step is the most important one, right? So it's like...
First or the last.
Yeah, or the last. I know, but like you can go from this shop, you could go potentially... billions of directions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Right? Yeah.
You could take one step leads to a different. Like suddenly you're on it. Where's the wisdom to know? Yeah, where do I go? Do you know what I'm saying?
Or
should you just go hell for leather?
No,
should you have a perspective on the whole thing?
You need to know where you want to end up.
Oh, potentially.
But I can tell you very straight. Yeah. I run VRM, I run Relaunch, and I'm the CMO of HorsePay. But I want to change marketing forever. Let's be very, very clear on this. Their marketing is broken.
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, wherever. Their algorithms control how marketing functions for the wider society. That doesn't make any sense. I understand it and they can be manipulated. But fundamentally, back in the old days, it was psychology that controlled marketing, not algorithms. Now in a bigger way, psychology is built into those algorithms, but they can be manipulated.
Yeah,
so, marketing should be about causation and correlation. What causes behaviorisms to work a certain way. And as a byproduct of copy, ads, campaigns, narrative positioning, branding, whatever, what correlation is created afterwards that created X amount of footfall, X amount of buying power, X amount of revenue, whatever. It's broken as a function. So where will I end up? I can tell you very, very clear, Sean. Causation and correlation, using AI to fix marketing as a function in some respect, using traditional marketing methodologies, from STP analysis to, Simon Sinek's The Golden Circle, all these, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it.
Yeah.
Adding into some of Gary V's stuff. To go back to you, I think that's what it is. Like, if it's, where do you want Phone Savers to go? Is Phone Savers a franchise model?
Yeah.
Are you going to end up closing Phone Savers and are you going to make all your money from banter at the counter?
Well,
Are you just
if there's any sponsors out there,
Yeah.
I got a microphone to pay for.
But you know what I mean?
We got a credit card bill coming into them.
Yeah. Who's up next, lads? But these are, do you want to make Killarney the phone capital of Kerry?
Yeah.
There's...
Would you think big? Do you think that's important to think big?
I wouldn't do it if it wasn't
Yeah,
big.
yeah. So, like...
I could have I could run... And the same as most entrepreneurs, to be very clear. You need a purpose in life.
Yeah.
And that's what gets us out of bed. You asked earlier about your motivation. Purpose. If you don't have a purpose, it's really, really difficult to stay motivated all the time.
It's really the journey, isn't it? The energy around the whole journey.
I love the community. Love the people. I love the mind frames.
Yeah.
I love the nothing is impossible. I love the seeing the smiles on people's faces when they figure something out.
Yeah.
When something that's been impossible is suddenly achieved. Something that can never be done is done. It's like your man who ran what was his name? Who ran the mile in under 4 minutes. It was never ever done before, and it was impossible. And 30 or 40,000 people had tried it, and it can't be done. And then this guy does it, and now hundreds of thousands of people have done it since then.
Yeah.
So it was always possible. It was just not accepted that it was because nobody had done it. And then when it is done, it's, geez, lads, really, come on, everybody can do it, sure. For 100 years, nobody did it. So what are you talking about?
Like,
That's not the way it works. Like,
when I was 10, if someone said, you'd be in the sitting room, they're going, play the Rolling Stones, Alexa, and you'll come on the radio. It's like, I'd probably be locked up, you know what I mean?
Genuinely, yeah. But that's why I love startups.
Yeah.
That's why you get excited about it. But I do think it goes back to having a purpose.
Yeah.
I think you need to know where you want to end up. I like spotting patterns.
Yeah.
So I used to always say to my mates, I can see the future. Now, what I meant by that, let's be very clear before I get scalded here.
Go on, where do you think the future is
No,
going?
what I meant by that was I can see patterns where you can start to go, okay, this may happen next because these things have happened before. I can't see the future if I had to just pick the lotto numbers and, I just win the lotto.
Well, what do you think is going to happen?
But the point was, Steve Jobs made a famous quote, and I love it. And he was the guy as well who also said, he thought he could see the future. You can only ever join the dots looking backwards.
Yeah, but
You
Steve
can only ever make
Jobs
sense.
was
You can
exceptional, I think. You know why?
He was.
He's the only guy that said, we don't ask what the market wants. We tell them what they want.
I would agree with that.
That was
as well.
amazing. Like,
I would agree with that. The customer doesn't know what they want. If you'd ask people, and I love that line, if you'd ask people when they were building horses before Henry Ford came along, they would have wanted bigger, faster horses. Yeah, they couldn't conceptualize. Yeah. And I think that's back to you asked the question earlier on, the difference between crowdfunding and VC. That's the difference. If you crowdfund, they'll give you bigger, better, faster horse. When you VC, they're pushing you towards
like a
they want the
pony.
car, they want the next step. What's the next iteration?
Yeah.
And I think that's important. I really
are the
do.
two things important? They
are depending on the vertical you want to take. For some people, it depends. For HorsePay, it's a very suited to going down the community route because we want the backing from the horse community. We want the backing from the equine community. We don't necessarily need loads of VCs fighting at the mouth about us. We want the horse community to back us. And the plans and the strategies me, Mike and Ian are making are all centered around that ethos.
The lifeblood is sort of community based.
Yeah, you want community, you want to give back. So we have some amazing ideas for the new year. Like we'll be releasing an equine magazine. We'll be releasing
don't be called Horse and Hound now, or you can't call it Horse and Hound.
I won't be telling you the branding stuff yet. No,
Go on.
Be trying to rob
Go
it.
on, I got GoDaddy ready to go.
We have we'll have a video series coming out. We'll have a place where we will be uploading, creating a digital magazine around equipment and things that people can buy or retail online. The equine industry needs to be digitized in a lot of ways. And I love that me, Mike and Ian have the ability to digitize some of this. I firmly believe that we'll build a media brand to support the HorsePay brand that we have, because that's what's missing in that industry. The same way as I don't think that there's enough media brands for marketing. So that's something else we will absolutely work on, or I will absolutely work on with my team from the other two companies into the new year as well. But again, bring that back to you. Imagine if you were to create a media brand here in Kerry or in Killarney around phones. So pick 4 key services that you offer. And then you create a media brand around that. What you're going to have is all of your target market are going to keep reading content from you. And it's not sales content. It's value content.
Yeah, there's a difference.
It's Gary V's thing of, document. Like, he's telling people at the moment they should be putting out 40 to 50 pieces of content on LinkedIn a day.
And some people say, if I do that, I've said it to people, and they say, if I do that, then people are going to leave. But whoever's going to leave,
find out, like,
they won't be your customers anyway.
I don't believe in fear either, like.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I do like about the way I look at the world. I think you should be fearless.
Yeah.
Why? Because I refuse to make a decision based on fear.
You don't compromise around that, do you?
I'm just don't make a decision based on fear. Why? Yeah. Why would you be afraid of? What? This may not work. Okay. Sure. Are you any worse than where you were in the first place?
Exactly, yeah.
Do you know?
You got to be willing to lose it all, haven't you? Like,
I would absolutely lose everything, including my knickers, as they say. Well, look, the point is, you want to be something, you want to go somewhere, you want to be somebody, you want to achieve something, you got to make sacrifices, man. Yeah. It's no different to being a Premier League footballer and they have to train on Christmas Day. Okay, that's the lifestyle. I get in trouble with family and friends a lot of the time, and most entrepreneurs do it, and I'm trying to get better at it around the work-life balance thing.
It's a load of shite.
Yeah, but
work-life balance, in fairness, like.
Well, it depends, no. There's a lot
I'm all work.
But there's a lot of support. There's a lot of support to say mental health on the other side is hugely important.
Well,
to me, it fundamentally goes down to the type of lifestyle you want to live. And then if you're going to go heavy on the work side of it, then you've to acknowledge that you will make sacrifices. You will miss birthdays, you will miss celebrations, you will miss this, that, the other. I live 25 minutes from my home. Now, in the next year when I start driving, it'll be made a lot easier, but I wouldn't get out to home a lot. And I only live 25 minutes from it. But I work 7 days a week. Now, in fairness, I spend a lot. I will FaceTime my nephews. I will ring my parents. I will do whatever. Yeah. But I'm not a saint either. I've only got better at that in the last couple of years. But fundamentally, if you live this type of lifestyle, you'll make a lot of sacrifices. There's no way around it. You're playing the game here. Yeah. This is the game of life. It's the startup world. It's the business world.
And it feels like when you're saying that you'll have a lot of sacrifices.
Well, you will,
it's like you're saying it. You're not saying it. You're saying it to other people to get a reflection on it. But that's not actually how you see it, is it?
No, this is just part of the journey.
You love it.
Yeah,
there's no sacrifices, is there? Really?
I came down to Killarney yesterday. Yeah. I haven't seen my girlfriend in about 2 months. And the last time I saw her was for about 20 minutes, and I haven't seen her in about 2 months before.
She's kidding me, you're in here.
No. So I come in here to the shop yesterday. She's after, first thing she organises.
I was aware yesterday, I go, geez, I'm asking him to come on the show, and he's only landed.
First thing she organises when I come down is for me to get my phone fixed, because I'm going to go nuts if I'm down here without my phone. Because before he came down the day before, I have a new phone ordered, and it's coming next week. Yeah. But my phone will be at 97%. I take a call for 3 minutes, and it's at 1%. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? So I arrived down here. First thing we do into the phone shop. Excellent. Meet the fella inside the phone shop, trying to jump on a podcast. So this morning's our first lying in bed.
Jesus.
And I'm going on a podcast. Fucking right, I'm going on the podcast. This is work, this is life. But the thing is, she'd encourage me. So when I was leaving, I said to her, do you want anything? Yeah, I want bread brought back. And you're going to cook breakfast. There's my sacrifice. So my sacrifice is I didn't get a lion or cuddles this morning, as she would put it. I will get them tonight or tomorrow morning. I have to cook breakfast now. That's the trade off. Yeah. And I have to bring back bread so she can have toast.
There you go, man.
No, that's a working both ways. And that's the beauty.
It's not all wine and roses. It's sometimes it's tea and toast.
Sometimes it's tea and toast, and a small bit of rasher and sausage too. But genuinely, it's you need to have people that understand, and sometimes they won't, and you can't get frustrated by it. It's not easy to explain. It's not easy to explain to somebody that you get out of bed and you're so excited with ideas. And they're going, oh, you must be anxious. And you're going, no, you don't get it.
Do you know, Shane, I kind of only share with people that understand now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's difficult though, because then it puts a lot of pressure on you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're trying to explain, but not explain to people who won't get it. But the point I'd make in it, though, Johnny, is that you just can't react. There's people very, very close to me that, I mean, very, in my inner circle, they'll never get it. And for years, they used to really, really frustrate me.
I know what you're saying.
And over the last couple of years, you get to a point and you're going,
Because you want them to share the enthusiasm. You want to come on board, right?
But they're never going to get it.
They don't get it.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Because there's certain things probably going on in their life that I can't ever get. And they'll be wondering why I don't understand.
Certain animals, entrepreneurs.
Yeah, why I don't behave that way, or why I don't look at things the same, or why I don't go to, maybe it's all these parties or all these things before COVID hit, obviously. All these things, and I'm going, because they don't interest me. What interests me is, can you fix this algorithm? Can this thing break? I took over a restaurant brand, and I remember he was telling me they got messed over by 3 different agencies, and I sat down with this guy, and I was like, I'll bring you to, they just opened their 3rd restaurant. I was like, I'll bring you to 20 restaurants. He was like,
hold on, whoa. You went in, he had 3 restaurants, and you said to him,
they just opened their 3rd restaurant.
Yeah,
this is 3 years ago, June 2017.
Now, folks, this guy, Shane, you went in there, you go,
this is
you
fact,
got 3, and I'm going to make you have 20.
This happened in Castletroy, yeah.
What happened?
Myself and my partner at the time went in, met this guy, Stephen is his name, and Stephen told us he'd been messed over by 3 agencies previously. We're not cheap to work with, but we're very good to work with, meaning clients can ring me at 12 o'clock.
The cheap thing is another issue. Could get into that. That's interesting.
Cheap is just a disgusting word.
Well,
we offer value, and Heinz buy by the story you're about to hear.
It's a bit like the phone, right? And like the phone. If I put €40 up on the counter, and I said, look, I'll take the battery out and put it. Which one do you want? Do you want the €40 today, or do you want the battery? You'd say I want the battery. That means you value the battery more than the €40.
Listen, if you'd have told me, in hindsight for you, if you'd have told me yesterday that was €200, I would have given it to you.
I think I got the price wrong.
100%. Why? Because I've shit tons to do in the next 5 days, and I need my phone before I get back to Limerick. It's value.
Yeah,
but I sat down with this guy, and he's telling me they got burnt by 3 different companies and this and that. And I went in and I said, look, I'll be very clear. They said, you're just after opening your 3rd restaurant. One, one in Galway, one in Innis, or one in Limerick, and you're opening a 2nd one. He said, yeah. I went, I'll get you to 20 restaurants. And he went, listen, if you just get me to 10 restaurants, we'll be more than happy. 2-year contract. They're actually about to open in Killarney after Christmas. And they're about to open their 16th restaurant inside 3 years. Jeez. So they're on number 16. I'm not far off the 20 mark, by the way. They're on number 16.
I thought you'd be doing well at 10 would be a miracle.
They opened the restaurant during COVID.
Wow.
But they're like, I'd love to say, look, we do really good marketing for them.
Yeah.
But we've built a really good brand. We've built a really good narrative around the brand. But they have a quality setup. They're a really good company. They do great food.
And the business has to be good anyway, doesn't it?
It does,
or whatever,
it does, but we innovate for them. We listen to people. So customers have said they wanted a healthy takeaway option, so we cook food without oil. They wanted stuff for Slimming World or Weight Watchers, so we released new dishes. When COVID hit, we wanted to do something before we shut down, so we gave away 50 grand worth of free food to healthcare workers across Ireland. I mean, they do, you know what I mean? They try, like.
Yeah.
They went to hospitals all over the country and gave healthcare workers, frontline workers, and not just nurses, etc. I mean, porters.
And did you implement this thought strategy?
We've done it together. We went back to them and we said, look, you need to be doing something like this. And they went, we need to do it. But you need to be working as a collaboration.
That's community thing as well. There you go.
Yeah. And they were it's
through your business, your branding as well. It has that about it.
That's why when I said earlier on to you that we interview clients as well.
Yeah.
When I go to a client, we turn down far more business than we take on. I mean, we take on 20% of the business that comes our way. Why? Because the rest of them are going to, excuse my language, fucking torture us. They won't innovate, they won't invest, they won't listen. They'll think they know, well, we've always done it this way. Well, then why the fuck are you coming to me? If you've always done it that way and that's not working, don't come to me to look for the same thing. I'm not going to execute bad stuff. Our company works in a certain way, We're here to try and pioneer excellence, to bring, what it says in my business card is we build scalable brands. What that means is we build scalable brand infrastructure. That means content plans, buyer personas, mapping narrative, understanding your brand positioning model, understanding your STP analysis, understanding data, what kind of ad sets are we going to create? What's the narrative that's going to be most effective to generate leads or sales? And we base it all on the 4 pillars. And you'll go back to my Instagram.
4 pillars? I thought you'd only have 1 pillar.
No, 4 pillars. And it's the psychology.
Yeah.
Social media marketing work. Awareness, engagement, loyalty, conversion. Awareness, engagement, loyalty, conversion.
Okay.
Every relationship other than your mom having you and you've been birthed works in that way. Every relationship. And always has. Yesterday, we became aware of each other.
Yeah.
Engagement was we had a brief chat. Loyalty is me coming on the podcast and our chatting now. And conversion is us chatting after this.
Yeah.
Every relationship, your wife or my partner, or it doesn't matter,
That's
male
very
or
good.
female, every relationship works the same. So to understand that based on that process, that's how you need to engage audiences online. How do you generate awareness first? How do you turn that awareness into authentic engagement? How do you really create organic loyalty? How do you create a way where they want and they think about you? When this comes up, that comes into your head. And then how do you create conversion, which is either a sale, it's repeat business, it's a long-term relationship, it's etc. Okay, that's the way all marketing should work. How do you create, so, how would phone savers in Killarney work under awareness, engagement, loyalty, conversion? Okay. So, as an example, let's go through it. So, I'll give you some free marketing advice here.
Okay. You're not, the clock isn't running now, is it?
I would run it.
Because I'd be paying a fortune, I don't know. And I'm willing to pay it. I'm willing to pay it.
The invoice is already in the post. I sent it before I arrived.
Hey, that's confidence, yeah.
I tell you.
I know how much I'm going to pay. I know how much I'm going to charge him already.
Gangsters at the table.
Yeah.
Always. I love it. I would run a weekly Facebook Live. Why? Because it's free. You have the equipment here, you sit down. If you sit down with €200, even €150 ads budget a month, now it's nowhere near what you should be spending, but for argument's sake, because it's small business, keep your costs down, minus your base, expand your customer base, and then invest more.
And you have to kind of pick your audience.
Scale as money improves. No problem. I have no issue with it. I have loads of clients where that's just the model,
Yeah.
Half of my clients will spend lots of money on ads. The other half, I have to work to get ads money.
Would you be thinking organic viral content or spend on ads?
You want a blend of it at the start until you have the loyalty gata.
Yeah.
Like you've no loyalty yet. I don't know you well enough here, and I met you yesterday. I haven't checked out the brands online.
Well, it's not too bad.
Run a Facebook Live, right? On a weekly basis, just at 7:00 on a Wednesday evening.
Yeah.
Okay, 7:00 on a Wednesday. Okay. Now, what's the Facebook Live going to be about? It's a 30-minute show. And what's the 30-minute show about?
I straight away have one.
Okay, so the 30-minute show is on products in the store.
We say grade A phones, which no one understands the difference between grade A and refurbished phones.
As an example, perfect. Yeah. Now, you do this every week. Now, you're starting to build a presence and people are going, oh, did you know John has this? Did you not phone savers do that? Did you know this?
Tremendous beyond the radio.
Now people are carrying the narrative for you.
Yeah.
Now,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, you think a word of mouth, again, the traditional way. Now people are carrying it through social media for you. My friend said this. My friend saw you do this. I told you, the models that were used previously, it's just the digitization of those things. Yeah, so that's how do you get pigeon carriers, as I call them, people who are carrying your mail.
Pigeon carriers.
Yeah, and how are they going to expand the message for you? So when you come in and you look at that, you're going, right, so running Facebook Live, do it on a weekly basis. It's free to set up a Facebook Live.
Yeah.
You can invite people on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 7, lads, we're going to be online. Ladies, etc., you're going to be here. Okay, you'll go slow at the start, but inside 2 months, you'll start generating footfall and customer base from it. Excellent. There's one.
Yeah.
Instagram, run an IGTV series. And, what happens a lot to phones, right? Their screens break. Something happens with the charger. What other issues do you get a lot of? People wanting you to fix the
battery thing.
Okay, so pick 4 recurring things that people will have issues with their phone. Now run an Instagram IGTV series on that. Why? Because if you look at the way Instagram is setting up, they're setting up to be where Facebook was 5 years ago. They're setting up to add incredibly monetary value. Instagram isn't a buying platform now, like Facebook is. You look at the new story you can put on Facebook, etc.
Yeah.
Instagram will become a buying platform in the next 6 to 9 months. Instagram is really only a buying platform now for influencers.
It was really sort of influencers, artists, sort of.
But if you go and you run an IGTV series on habits and behaviorisms that you know are recurring and localized to you, so phone repair Kerry, and your IGTV series is just on the 4 things, and you run a second season, like Netflix, season 1, season 2.
Seasons,
By the time you get to 3 or 4 months in, I guarantee you'll be coming back and going, Shane, thank you for that advice. We're after increasing our turnover by 2 or 3 grand a month.
Yeah.
If you just ran what I told you on Facebook and on Instagram, and you've done it consistently, you found a right narrative and a cool brand design, etc. around it. I guarantee you'll increase your turnover 2 to 3 grand a month. Guaranteed. And these are free to do because of the equipment you have here.
It's
but
amazing.
it's
It's free. I mean, I took out an advertising on a paper like 3 or 4 years ago.
You're pissing against the wind.
Yeah, and I only made the money back.
Yeah,
and I didn't make any money. Do you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
whereas I can go out right now.
You could post something now.
I can show you hairdressers. I will literally check it right now. I ran an ad for hairdressers 2 nights ago, and I'd say I'll spend €60 in the ad. And I would say that they have 7 or 8 inquiries. Let's see. So how much have I spent? 31.
31.85.
And how many messages?
7.
7 inquiries. So if you think that the average booking inside and that is minimum 37.50, with the average, that's the lowest one is 37.50. But the 7 messages is probably going to bring in €1,000 worth of business. So they've spent 31.85. It's going to generate €1,000. Their margin, let's call their margin 50%. Probably a lot more, but 50%.
That's a great
that
return.
Means for my €30, we've generated €1,000 and the margin is £500. That's why we're good at marketing.
Yeah. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer, like.
You know.
It's like pennies for pounds, like.
Yeah, literally. And I can see here, you know, there's people saying that they're trying to ring the hairdressers and they can't get through. They're too busy, you know. So,
where do you see things going for the industry now? Like, is it going to be voice? I think voice activation is going to be big. Is it?
Audio will be big, yeah.
Yeah.
Audio will be big, but I think that's why narrative is so important. No, that's why.
Get in there now, lads.
So, like, what?
Contact Shane. Where can you get hold of Shane anyway?
LinkedIn, Shane McCarthy, Shane Mac Social on Instagram and on Twitter and on Facebook. Shane McCarthy, Limerick, VRM, Relaunch Marketing. Contact through there.
Yeah.
Just get in touch. Hit me up. We're also doing that. That's another thing. We're giving a lot of free advice through Relaunch Marketing. I think I don't know what the.
I mean, you're very generous in your advice there. Even
there's
yesterday,
15 companies we're picking.
I appreciate it too. Yeah.
15 companies, and we're going giving them 2 hours of free consultancy to help them set up. So like that, you'll see 2 hours may not seem like a lot, but I can transform your business in 2 hours. I can transform the amount of money you'll make on a yearly basis in 2 hours.
Yeah.
But it will all be about follow through from you after. So genuinely, if you done my Facebook Live idea and you done IGTV, I guarantee you, John, you'd make an extra $2,000 a month there.
Wow.
But I can tell you that. I know it. I have the stats to prove it.
Me doing it.
Now will John do it?
Can I say, there's a good opening there for some sort of a business development company to liaise with you to come in and fix the hemorrhaging in some sort of a company. You know, do you ever get to that stage where you kind of think there's potential in this company?
There is, but look, there's
and I'm not going to organise the company for you, but I know a guy that can come on board with.
There is a potential, but look, it's the same as you. When I look at some of the amazing equipment you have here, is there not potential for you to go around and set up these types of studio areas for loads? But you see what I mean?
I know, across my mind.
This is the thing. Ideas are one thing, execution is everything.
Execution, another one.
So
yeah.
You'll run around and you'll do a million things, but then you're not focused on anything. And I was guilty of this myself before. You know, you're trying to be all things to all men or all women, and by the end of it, you've actually done nothing.
It's true, man. That's true. Shane. Jeez, thanks for that. I mean, my head, I'm fired up. Like, I think what I want to do.
Probably
I'm on Facebook Live right now.
You should do it, yeah. But if people
could have done this.
If
Facebook
the people
Live,
at Kerry or anybody want advice, we're in a very giving mode at the moment. I think COVID has softened us up now. But if you go to relaunchmarketing.ie or go to relaunchmarketing.ie on Facebook or on LinkedIn, send us a message and just say, hey, I would like some free advice. Or can I have a call? We will jump on a call with you. We will help listen to what your business is, where you need help, where you think you need help, and try and come up with some solutions for you.
Yeah.
Can we roll it out and execute it? Probably not. I don't know. Let's see. But we will definitely give you 1 or 2 hours free.
And you're not going to be taken on if you don't want to be taken. Like,
no,
it's going to be genuine business relationship, and you're going to help these guys, and because you get a great kick out of it, don't you?
I do, yeah. I love helping people, and I think that's a power that we have. If you have the ability to help someone, you should. And it's back to the HorsePay thing. We have the ability to help people, and we want that.
Great stuff.
VRM, we have the ability to help that restaurant and the hairdressers, etc. Relaunch, now we're starting it. We have the ability to help a lot of businesses to launch or to relaunch, to help them not go under, to help them innovate in the way that they need to, or to modernise their online presence in the way that they do. So if they want to send me a message, we're there to help. Myself and I have an amazing team behind me. I have an incredible team. I'm privileged to be leading a lot of them. They're incredible people. They're wonderful, and they're really, really gifted at what they do. I just happen to be the face and the mouthpiece at the front of it, you know.
Of course, man. And you know, any businesses out there that are going through hard times, because I've looked at a few things, people are really struggling, right?
Oh yeah.
And you know, they're not lucky enough to have an established business or whatever it might be, you know.
It's not easy.
Marketing works.
Yeah,
do you know
it does. Yeah.
Marketing works.
Facebook,
social
Instagram,
media,
LinkedIn.
Facebook.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what you're doing and you have a good business, and you know it's a good business, get in touch. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Totally, man.
I appreciate you having me on the show.
You're welcome,
been an
Shane.
absolute pleasure.
Been great, man. Great
Banter
chat.
at the counter, some gone. I love it.
Thanks, man.
I love it. I can't wait to see what you do next.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Well, folks, that's it. Unfortunately, we've reached the end of our show. Thanks for joining us and listening. And if you want to hear more from us, please subscribe to our podcast. And details on how to do that are on our Facebook page, Banter at the Counter, and soon on www.banteratthecounter.com. Also hit us up on Twitter and Instagram if you want to keep in touch. So until next time, mind yourselves, please stay safe and be positive.